There's a spiritual teacher named Jason Garner who was thinking of words to say to himself as he, like all of us, walked through these perilous and turbulent times where frightening things are happening in the larger world, and our own society has known its share of turmoil in the recent past and now. And here is what he wrote that I share with you as our chalice lighting. Amidst all that's out of my control, I can breathe. I can love. I can show up and do my best. I can be gentle with myself, my family, my loved ones, my friends. And when I feel I have misstepped, either in the past or in this very day, I can always stop, breathe deeply, and begin again. This is my practice. And now, Mignon. Pam, thank you so much for that powerful story and that image of filling your bucket with joy and what gives you peace and satisfaction is so powerful. And that image is so powerful. Thank you. I will carry that with me into the week. And Mignon, thank you for the hymn. The hymns you pick, such as today, seems to be so perfectly articulating what I think many of us believe. And it's out there, and we sing it, and we see it, and it gives us clarity. And thank you for that as well. A religious community is a place which I believe supports people's need to receive and to give support and affirmation for their deepest, most fundamental needs. To use Pam's metaphor, it is a place where we fill our own bucket and we seek to fill the buckets of others. By fundamental need, I mean something that is inescapably part of our lives, of each of our lives. It is the need for survival, for safety, for security, for the experience of being loved, for the experience of belonging, the need to get support in times of trial and struggle, support and nourishment and encouragement to grow as a person, and the need to find a purpose that is greater than self and be encouraged and nurtured to serve it. These are a hierarchy of needs. Some are more pressing and essential to survival than others, but they are all part of us. And so every human being here and every human being we will encounter shares with us these fundamental needs that we are all in search of the fulfillment of. One major role, I believe, of a congregation is to be a place that helps people skillfully address their fundamental needs and those of others. Consider this image, if you will, a very simple image. On this side are people and situations that represent the needs of the world. Those needs could be internal to this community or external. It could be the needs of people in this community to feel like they're loved and affirmed and part of a community. It could be that the person is part of a marginalized group and feels very, very insecure in society, and they want to be at a place where they can feel some degree of security. It may be a need that's external to this organization, such as addressing the refugee crisis, or dealing with injustice, or dealing with white supremacy and its power in our nation and in the world. These needs over here are potentially infinite. And over here is a group of people like us who, because of fate and good fortune or some other reason, have the ability to transcend our own personal needs and to address and to see and sometimes hopefully help with the needs of people over here. But the needs represented over here are also within this group of people helping others. So we are seeking to train people, to encourage people, to nourish people in helping themselves and others. A congregation, in my humble opinion, is, or at least one of its major functions in the world, what it's really all about is to encourage and help and support people to be of service to others. This is what life is all about. Furthermore, as Pam was saying in her remarks, the act of giving to others and serving others is one of the most enriching experiences of life. I think each of us can relate to the fact that if we have an experience of genuinely helping another human being, whether it's just a word of encouragement or a material gift or encouragement of any kind, and if we believe that by our actions and our words we have helped another human being, that is one of the most powerful and joyful experiences we can find in this world. And so, paradoxically, as we give or seek to give, we also find ourselves enriched. Between these two worlds, the world of people who are able to give, that's you, who have found their way to a place where they implicitly are saying, I want to be of service to others and to the world. To find a way to bridge that group of people to this world of needs is the whole purpose of this institution. The leadership of a congregation is the group of people in the middle who are seeking to encourage or elicit or evoke the capacity to give and to serve others of this group and to direct it to the other side. The desire to be of service is innate. And in a moment, during the meditation reading, I will share with you the example of young children who exhibited the innate desire to be of service to others. But we have to be careful. We have to be very careful, because people who are over here and willing to serve the people over here, which might include themselves, members of their own group, they have to be careful, because we can be so overwhelmed by the needs of the world that we drown in it, that we become burnt out by our efforts to be of help to others. And I have seen it. And the burnout of some of our best servants in this or any institution is a continual critical need. We need to tap into the resources of people, but not burn them out. One way I think we do this is we do more of the following. We ask people, what makes you feel alive? What way can you serve the world that makes you feel most alive, most joyful, most engaged with life? And to let that inner light of the person be a guide. The governance system that we have been discussing for months and is an ongoing process is nothing more or less than an attempt to be more skillful, direct, and helpful in facilitating the energies of the congregation towards helping those in need. The covenant that we have recently created is nothing more or less than a way to make sure as we engage in this activity, people treat one another kindly. One thing that has impressed me very deeply in all the congregations I have served is, as I have gone about the process of working with 10 different congregations at least, and when I had the opportunity to really get to know people, I have been deeply impressed by the incredible riches, the riches of persons that we find in UU congregations. There are many, many remarkable people right here in our midst. All of you are remarkable in some way. And my hope and my desire, which I've never seen fully realized anywhere, really, is to take the incredible energy and capacity of our UU congregations and utilize them in a way that we can say, well, we're fully actualizing the potential that we have to be of service to the world. How that is done is not always a simple matter. I have heard recently, especially the last 3 or 4 months, many people talk about the dissolution or the disintegration of religious institutions. And there have been a number of people, even UU leaders, and certainly people in other religious organizations who point to the decline of traditional institutions like all of the Protestant churches. And those statistics are quite real, and some people have pointed to a disturbing 20-year trend of people who are going into more fundamentalist churches and them growing. I am not an advocate or a believer in the idea that religious communities are on the decline. I think the problem is religious communities have not adapted to the reality that is now. That we have used old forms of governance and old forms of organization that are no longer appropriate for the world in which we live. Why can't we be a place where we will try anything if we think it will deal with a need in the world? And why do we fear failure? Why do we have committees that last for 50 years, but nobody knows what they do? Why do we have committees that have dwindled down to one person? And nobody asks why. Why can't we take the vital energy that exists in a place like this and move it toward what everybody here cares about in different ways? There's tremendous leadership here. Why do we think in terms of, well, we'll have a committee or a team of people and we'll only try to recruit people who are in the congregation? Why don't we do more interfaith and interorganizational work where if we have a cause we believe in, we connect with those who are in the larger community so we can grow our strength and create some real leverage? It's always been amazing to me that UUs across the years and through the years are unbelievably imaginative when it comes to theology. They'll believe anything. But when it comes to organization, UUs are the most conservative people on this earth. Two things that are sacred are Robert Rules of Order and, of course, the coffee hour. Religious communities address, if they're alive, fundamental human needs. Those needs do not vary from age to age or from person to person. We all want respect. We all want security. We all want a sense of belongingness. And everybody out there in the world does too. Why are we not larger as an organization than we are? What is holding us back? So if someone in the days ahead reaches out to you and invites you into a conversation about being of service to the congregation, I hope you will consider it. Ultimately, we are all saved in that UU way of understanding that term. We are saved by serving others. We are saved by serving a cause and a purpose greater than ourselves, and that will never change. And this place invites us to do so. And now, Ryan, thank you for the peppy music. It gives everyone stamina for that fourth quarter of the service. Enlivens us all. 2 years into a pandemic, the recent start of a war in the Ukraine, and several years of gun violence in schools, churches, synagogues, and other places led to a group of students in a small rural California town, an elementary school, to be fed up and ready to give the world a pep talk. Their inspiring messages, this group of elementary school teachers, went live February the 26th. Recently, they have had as many as 5,000 call-ins per day. Dubbed the Peptic Hotline, the students of Westside Elementary School in Harrisburg, California, is designated to give us all a bit of encouragement. In a first recording, and you'll have to listen carefully to the children's voices, in the first recording, there are instructions, some of which are in Spanish, so the caller can know what the options are. Could we play tape number 1?
Hi, welcome to Pep Talk, a public art project by Westside School.
Bienvenidos a Pep Talk, un proyecto creado por los estudiantes de Westside School.
Para un mensaje feliz, presiona 5.
Please listen to the following options for encouraging messages. If you're feeling mad, frustrated, or nervous, press 1. If you need words of encouragement and life advice, press 2. If you need a pep talk from kindergartners, press 3. If you need to hear kids laughing with delight, press 4.
For encouragement in Spanish, press 5.
The second recording is a sample of advice that the children give when someone is feeling mad or frustrated. Could you play tape 2?
When you're feeling mad, you should take 3 deep breaths and think of things that make you happy. The thing that makes me happy is when, and I think of happy things will happen in the future, like going to a friend's house or a cousin's house. Bye.
If you're frustrated, just take 5 minutes off.
If you're frustrated, you can always go to your bedroom, punch a pillow or cry on it, and just go scream outside.
The third recording is for those who need encouraging messages. Could you play the third tape?
Be grateful for yourself. Dude, live it up.
Be you.
I trust that you can make things right.
Be happy. Try it again.
Believe in yourself.
If you're feeling up high and unbalanced, think of groundhogs.
It's okay to be different.
Always stay together.
Don't give up, power through.
We all really like you.
The principal noted in his 27 years as an educator, this hotline created by the students was the most moving and joyful experience he had ever had. He furthermore went on to say that he was very proud of them and impressed by the innate compassion and love they had for people and the world. Service to others, the kids found, is something that gives us joy. Oh, by the way, if you want to call the number, it's 707-998-8410. And now Mignon. Let us for a moment look beyond our doors to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. I would like to share a reading this morning from Eric Cherry. Their history is complex. The politics are intense. The fear and anger are overwhelming, and the future is unclear. But glimpses of a hopeful vision will not be bombarded into oblivion by anyone. In prayer, we call to mind the peacemakers, neighbors of differing faiths, with different histories, with different politics, with different emotions, who find room for each other in their hearts, in their dreams, and in their lives. Those who hold firmly to a vision of peace and justice everywhere in the world, their hearts will be answered. But especially today in Ukraine, we think of the people there. In this moment of silence, let us bring to mind those Ukrainians who have died in this war, who are yet seeking protection in underground shelters, and those fleeing their homeland to safety. Let us also lift up those who have opened their borders, their homes, their doors, their hearts to those fleeing. Let us hope for peace, that it might prevail. Would you join me in a brief moment of silence in honor of this critical need for peace in the world? I would like to thank the choir for being here. You help immensely in the filling of my bucket each time you are here, as does everyone here. And I must confess, you collectively always fill my bucket, and I'm greatly blessed for that. Our words of benediction come from Jason Garner again, who writes, "Pay attention to something in your surroundings, the in and out of your breath, the rhythm of your heart, the pain in your knee, the barking of a dog, the cry of a child, the smile of a child, the many hues of a rising sun. Just rest here in this moment and breathe. It is all you need. The moment itself is a meditation. This is your life, your moment, and this moment is enough." Amen.